So welcome back to Corey Has Spoken. So there is a UFC fight night this weekend that has me pretty pumped. I think it's going to be a pretty sweet kickboxing match, and that's between Arnold Allen and Calvin Kattar. Now, Arnold Allen is 18-1 overall, undefeated in the UFC, going up against Calvin Kattar, who has just been on a tear throughout the whole division. Only had a couple of losses. Of course, the famous loss to Max Holloway, where Max was just on a completely different level that night. Only other loss Calvin Kattar has had was a very, very close decision match to Emmett. Emmett? Josh Emmett. Couldn't think of that guy's name. Which, yeah, I thought it was a little lame. I kind of gave that to Calvin Kattar. I think some others did as well, but, you know, that's why they say never leave it in the judges' hands. Obviously, it was close enough to where judges could have seen it going either way, which is why they ended up giving it to Josh Emmett. We learned a hard lesson this past weekend. The Piotr Jan fans learned a hard lesson with that this past weekend, yelling robbery about Sean O'Malley. Robbing Piotr Jan of the decision that was supposed to be his. But hey, let's get real. If it's close enough to where the judges could have it this way or the other, I mean, you can't complain. With that said, Arnold Allen is, I think, the quicker fighter than Calvin Kattar. Although he has won almost all of his fights via decision, unanimous decision sort of situation. He does have a couple of finishes via submission. I think both of those were guillotines. But he's not a guy who, at least since he's been in the UFC, is typically going to finish guys via KO or TKO. I think that is going to present a big problem in finishing this fight, if I'm being honest. You got a guy like Calvin Kattar, who's boxing and MMA striking and striking defense is pretty damn good. I mean, he's got that, he's got that right elbow that he likes to disguise as a number two, like he's coming in with a two and then he'll lead with that elbow. He knocked out Jeremy Stevens with that. He caught Giga Chikadze with that multiple times over and over and over throughout their fight. And in spite of what happened between Calvin Kattar and Max Holloway, after seeing what Kattar was able to do to Giga Chikadze, the high level of striking and kickboxing and being a karate specialist like he is, after seeing that, I was pretty convinced that Calvin Kattar had done his homework. And I just don't think, in spite of Arnold Allen maybe being a little bit of a quicker fighter, I just don't think he's going to be able to stand and bang and kickbox with someone like Calvin Kattar. I would be very shocked if he is able to do that. I think that over the course of a couple of rounds, Arnold Allen's not going to like how it's going. I think he's going to be getting pieced up and touched up a little bit because Calvin Kattar is really good at accepting people's forward pressure, just like he did with Giga. Accept that forward pressure, and then when they come in a little overzealous trying to touch you, making them run into something, making them run on into punches and run on elbows. And, he did that consistently to Giga that night. And Arnold Allen is another one of those guys that really comes with that forward pressure and aggression. And he's more of a, swarm type fighter. He's not a guy to, throw a couple of combos, then back out, circle, come back in, land a leg kick, back out, circle, come back in with a 1-2, slip, angle off, 2 uppercuts. He's not that guy. He's a guy that's going to come in, 1-2, and if he's able to clip you, and if he's able to get over on you with his speed and touch you with something and hurt you, then he comes in and swarms you. Just boom, 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 hoping to finish you, kind of like he did with Dan Hooker. By the way, I think 9 times out of 10, Dan Hooker could beat Arnold Allen. I think he went down to the featherweight division. He was a little bit taken aback at the speed difference. When you give up that 10 pounds, you're also gaining some speed with that, because that's less weight that you have to carry around. And I think that was kind of a shock to him. I don't think it was Dan's first time at featherweight in his career, but I know it's his first time at featherweight in a really, really long time. I don't know when the last time that Dan Hooker fought at featherweight was, but it's been years. It's been years. Most of his career has been spent at 155, and these 145 guys are just, I mean, they're just quicker at 45. It's just the way it is, and I think it took Dan Hooker off his game. I think he got hit, he got clipped, and then, props to Arnold Allen. He's very quick and he has a good killer instinct, and he just went after him. And while he was hurt, while he was on skates, and Dan Hooker just wasn't able to ever recover. But I think Dan Hooker is far the better striker and the more dynamic striker than Arnold Allen, despite what the outcome of that fight was. And I think that Calvin Kattar is a better and more experienced and a more polished striker than is Arnold Allen as well. And I think that Calvin Kattar is going to be able to deal with the speed a lot better, being as how he's been in the featherweight division for pretty much, I think, his whole career in the UFC. So I see Arnold Allen coming in the first couple of rounds, trying to swarm on Calvin Kattar, running onto some ones and twos, running onto that, number two elbow that Kattar likes to throw, possibly some spinning elbows, Kattar angling off, throwing a couple of uppercuts, catching Arnold Allen. And I see Arnold Allen just getting caught and pieced up a little bit over the first couple of rounds. By the end of the second round, maybe beginning the third, possibly in the first, depending on how many times Kattar touches him, I see Arnold Allen going in and trying to maybe press Kattar up against the fence, just to take some of the striking pressure off of himself, because he's not going to like what he's feeling there. And, Kattar just has great grappling and wrestling defense, and I just don't think Arnold Allen is up for the task. I think just like with Giga Chikadze and that hype train, I think the hype train of Arnold Allen is probably going to stop. Maybe not stop, but it's going to slow down to a creeping pace as of Saturday, and I see him being 18-2. This happens quite often. It happened this past weekend with Sean Brady and Bilal Muhammad. These guys have got these undefeated records and these amazing records, but who have they fought? And the best guy that Arnold Allen has fought next to Dan Hooker has been perhaps Sadiq Youssef. And, he's a good fighter. He's not a great fighter. He's not an excellent, top tier fighter. So you have to look at that when you're looking at these guys, and they get to the point in that upper echelon of that division, in the upper echelon of that ladder, and one of these more experienced guys, a la Bilal Muhammad and Sean Brady, kicks them back down the ladder, and they have to rebuild and take consecutive steps back up and beat more guys to get back up there again. Go back to the lab, go back to the gym. And I think that's what's going to happen this Saturday night. I just don't think Arnold Allen's ready. I think that he is good enough to where Calvin Kattar may have trouble finishing him, but and it could be a unanimous decision type situation. But Calvin Kattar can bang, man. And you're talking about someone with not only a killer chin, like he showed in the fight with Max Holloway. I mean, he was getting pieced up from the floor up, and he's one of those guys, he's hard to put away. So I definitely don't see Arnold Allen being able to put away Calvin Kattar. Not saying it can't happen. It can happen, and I've already disclosed that I do feel Arnold Allen may be the quicker fighter between the two. So it is possible that he's able to, catch Kattar with something that Cater's not expecting, hurt him and put him on skates, and then just go in for the kill like he's been known to do, and like he did with Dan Hooker. Just don't see it happening. I think Kattar gets this one done, sends Allen back down the rankings and back down the ladder, to kind of start and rebuild again. And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a sweet match, man. It's going to be one that's fun to watch. So I hope you guys check it out as well. Thanks for listening to Corey Has Spoken. If you enjoy the content, please do like and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time, guys. Peace.